Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, non-binary pals, international football is upon us. It is a beautiful time to be alive. Welcome to the Strompcast episode, 231 we're on now.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a fun one today, I think. Just the Canadian duo, no Sam and no Chris, but you have myself and Mr. Danny Saldana. Danny, how are you today?
I'm doing good, my friend. Like you said, it's the most wonderful time
Of
of the
the year.
year when Copa America and the Euros line up perfectly.
We
It's
have
like,
we have games from like here in Canada and on the East Coast in
Mhm.
America. For everybody doesn't know, we have games at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., and then I think after tomorrow's Copa America Day, it's like 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. or something like
in
that,
eight or nine or
or eight
six
or
or
nine.
nine or
Yeah.
something like that. But
So
tomorrow's
we
at
have
8.
like four. We have like days where we got like 5 days just full of football, and it's the greatest thing ever. I love this time of year.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
great.
far, this Euros has been amazing. We'll get into
Oh, it's
that, of
been
course.
chaos. It's been chaos.
And it's only, and listen to me, and I know you're the same way.
Yeah,
I love it that it's these little games that like people
it's the
might
games
not
no
be
one expect
watching.
anything.
Like Georgia Turkey, that game was insane.
Yeah, yeah. I
Romania
was so mad
Ukraine,
I missed it.
bangers. Oh
Yeah,
man,
I had
I
to
love
find the
it.
replay of the Georgia Turkey game. I couldn't watch it like I was working, but I made a point of like I got to find the highlights or the replay of this because I heard like timeline was going crazy during that game.
Bro, I didn't expect.
Yeah,
Okay, it's a 9 o'clock game. I'm getting ready for Portugal, anyways,
yeah,
and
you're not expecting a whole heck
I'm
of a
not
lot.
expecting anything. I'm just logging into work, anyways. It's
Mhm.
whatever. And like, I didn't give a fuck. I mean, if my employers are watching, of course, like I was dedicated to the job at hand. Of course, the shareholders are obviously the most important thing to me. But that Turkey Georgia
Understandable.
game was probably the second most important thing to me, if you know what I mean. Like that shit was insane. That was such a great game, and we've been flooded, we've been littered with them, to be quite honest with you. So I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, there's been very few like dull, like really objectively dull games so far, which is nice. There's something about the Euros. They're in Germany, which is like such a beautiful place too. It looks like
Yeah,
it's just wonderful times all around. But
except
we
for that.
have one special game to talk about. That is our beloved Silasau, who eked out a win right at the death against Czechia, the Czechs, Czech Republic, whatever you want to call them. I'm gonna pull up the goal point here in a minute. But man, that first half was frustrating as I wait for goal point to share the screen share to go through here. But it was so frustrating watching this team in the first half. Here's the lineups as follows. So Czechia started with Stanek, Hradek, Krejci, holes. They had some holes in their defense, all right. Dudera,
Nice.
Sulk, Stuchek, Provo. Sam made that joke on Twitter. I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
Suchek, Provo, Sufal, Kukta, and Schick. And they subbed Linger, Chittel, Barak, Sevchik, and Chori. Portugal's lineup was Diogo Costa, Pep, Ruben Dias, and Nuno Mendes as a center back. That was an
Crazy.
odd choice.
Crazy.
Midfield duo of Vitinha and Bruno Fernandes. Fullbacks, wingbacks, whatever you want to call them, of Cancelo and Diogo Dalot. And then forward line of Rafael Leao, Bernardo Silva, and Ronaldo. Substitutes were Jota, Inácio, Conceição, Semedo, and Pedro Neto. I will pass this off to you first, Danny, because this was a frustrating game to watch at times.
Yeah.
What did you make of everything? Give me the rundown.
I mean, we dominated them, to be quite honest with you. Okay,
Yeah.
really it was one counterattack. I don't quite remember them attacking us all that much after or before or after that. After that, a bit more.
After that, they
We
had a
were really
few
going for
when it
it.
was,
We
especially
were
when it was
going for
tied.
it. Yeah, but before that, nothing really from them, especially that
No.
first half. That first half, I felt Ronaldo should have had a goal in there. Although I did like the way he played. I thought
He played well. He played well.
yeah, I thought Bruno had a good game on him. Not the best game, but I thought Bruno was being creative out there at least. He was trying. You can't say that about Bernardo. That's for sure.
I'll get to my points about Bruno and a couple Benfica boys in a minute, but I want to let you finish.
I might jump the gun on some of your Benfica boys
Some of
because
the Benfica boys, yeah.
was another one. I'm a big Cancelo fan, and to be
Pissed
fair,
me
this
off.
is probably one of the few games that he's had in a Portugal shirt that he hasn't played really well at.
Mhm.
But that first half was atrocious from him. Fast,
Yeah.
by the way, Rich, really quick. Shame. I said the same thing, Phil. But it's a Zidane jersey, so we forgive him.
Ramenez la coupe à la maison.
We forgive him. But yeah, Cancelo had a poor game.
Yeah.
Bernardo, I don't know what it is when it comes to a Portugal shirt.
He was frustrating this game.
Bernardo, but this is like what a lot of fans, and I think we know why, they're from a certain fan base, but what a couple of fans have towards Bruno in a Portugal shirt, which I don't quite understand. I get he's never been at like that elite level that he showed in like United at times and even Sporting. But that hate needs to be redirected to Bernardo, because Bernardo has had he's had more games that he's played poorly in a Portugal shirt than where he's played well in a Portugal shirt, in my personal opinion. And it's to a point where, I mean, next game I probably still start him. Don't get me wrong, but we have to start looking at other options.
In the next game, though, you
have to drop him. You have to drop him. And now with Conceição getting the goal, again, I don't think we should start him next game. I mean, he just so happened to be at the right place at the right time, thankfully. But it's not like he did much else other than that.
Well, he scored with 3 minutes left on his first touch or something, right? There's not much else to do.
Fair enough, which is another thing I wanted to mention as well with Martinez there. But yeah, I mean, but even still, Pidamnet came on. He looked really well. So that's another player that could be vying for that spot as well. Rafael Leão didn't have his best game either.
I would say the four frustrating players were Rafael Leão, João Cancelo, Bernardo, and Bruno. I think those were the four players I was very borderline getting pissed off with at times.
That's fair. Bruno's second half especially.
Bruno's
second half I thought he was great.
Was fine. He played the give it to Ronaldo tactic even when it made no sense. And it would have made there was one play and he tried to dink it to Ronaldo, and I'm like, there is a midfielder 10 yards away from you that you could have passed to, and you would have had him in open space. You could have done something from there, but no, you had to give it to Ronaldo in double coverage, and that was really frustrating. Bernardo plays the whole attack play like they were in slow-mo, but Bernardo especially plays he almost plays like Chico sometimes, where he gets the ball for it and then he kind of comes back, and it's just do anything. He was frustrating as well. Leão was would run around a guy and then either half-ass across, dive.
That shit pissed me the fuck off, man.
Or he would sit there and then he would stop, and then he's like, I gotta do some stuff with my feet, and it's no, just do anything else. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Those guys, and Cancelo was just awful on crosses.
I thought even Cancelo was awful on the ball as well. That first half was so atrocious. His passes were poor. He had the ball. He would try to beat the guy, lose the ball right away.
Yeah.
Not impressed with him whatsoever.
Yeah. That left side was a real big letdown. Nuno Mendes, I thought, made a lot happen. I thought Pep was brilliant in defense.
Me too.
Ruben Diaz played well.
He got a big block.
I thought Ronaldo actually played well. He didn't get too pissed off. He actually got pissed off at the lot once because he's like, where are you? The cross went over Ronaldo, and he's like, where you should be at the back post. They've given you space for the run. Take advantage of it. So I understood that.
I liked Dalot, but this game from him as well, it wasn't his best game.
I think the next game, if it's up to me, it's not up to me. Sucks for us. As I probably have Nuno Mendes start at the wing back, even though I liked him at center back. He was surprisingly good. He created the own goal.
Yeah.
Which was good. Well, we went behind on.
But by then I think Inácio was on, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't think Inácio was on.
Let me double check.
For me, I think Nuno Mendes, I would happily start him where Cancelo started, and maybe you put in Antonio Silva or Inácio in that back three. And then maybe you move Cancelo to the starting right wing back position. Their goal, it was a great shot, but I could see it coming from a mile away as soon as they started that attack. I'm like, they're gonna score off a stupid counterattack. I barely reacted when the goal went in. I just laughed. I'm like, that sounds about right. That's what I expect from this team.
Yeah.
They control the pace. They control the ball. They make a lot of passes. And then, sure enough, counterattack, they come in, bang, goal. And what do? Thankfully, we got it back relatively quickly. Nuno Mendes making things happen on the own goal. We have the go-ahead goal disallowed. It was a great header by Ronaldo, but he's offside. And people are like, how is he offside? I'm like, because he can score with his head, and his head's offside.
Yeah,
That's what I'm starting to say. When I saw the initial play, I'm like, it's going to be close. And then when I saw the replay, it was still very close. But he is, I think, offside.
I agree.
We can't even argue because they have the semi-automated.
I like the automated.
I like that. It leaves no room for judgment.
Yeah.
It leaves no room for debate. Essentially, it's yes, it is, or no, it isn't. Yeah. There's no. We're trying to figure out these make-believe lines nonsense. If we get that in the Portuguese league, we're gonna lose like half our content for the show.
It's becoming exactly it's tennis. You know what I mean? So and with tennis, there's no debating on this.
It's using the tech in the best way possible. It's making sure you get the right call. And man, when the league institutes that, we're gonna lose like half our content for the show because every week we just talk about the offside lines. It's like, who drew these lines? It's so annoying. So, but until then, we move. And then Conceição came in. I thought the subs were really late. Yeah, I thought that he waited like 10, 15 minutes too long to make any subs.
Me too.
Especially when they were behind and they were like chasing the game. I thought he should have made subs.
Yeah.
Conceição comes in, gets a goal. Good for him. I'm happy for him. There's not much to add this game. I think it was a frustrating game. It was a typical Portuguese game where they dinked it around a lot. They played at half speed in the attacking half. Lot of unnecessary passes, some stupid, unnecessary, fancy attempted nonsense. And then they pull it out of their ass at the end because they're lucky and they're Portugal. And sometimes it goes that way.
Yeah. Sometimes. Not always.
Sometimes maybe good. Sometimes maybe shit. That's us.
On the subs as well, I agree. Those last subs, I don't understand what the fuck he's waiting so long to get that in. I understand
right at the end.
Right at the end, but it's just ridiculous. Inácio did sub on right after they scored on the 63rd. We ended up scoring on the 69th. With that being said, I liked Inácio in center back. I feel like if we
I thought all our center backs played well. I thought all three center backs, and even Nuno Mendes center back played very well.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Nuno Mendes, one thing that he did well, especially in the first half, one thing he did well is because we controlled the ball so much, he was able to push forward, right? So he's a center back, but he's not really playing as a center back. He's the creative on the back line. But I feel like Inácio can do, not to the same extent, but to a similar extent, he can do that, especially like as a quarterback role, as we've seen with that last goal. The ball that he gave to Neto, where Neto then controls it well and is managed.
The guy tries to block the cross with his dick.
And then, yeah, exactly.
Nutmegs himself.
Exactly. But I think Inácio, at least he offers that solidarity in that back line that Nuno Mendes doesn't, because Nuno Mendes will bomb forward a lot more. And then the only other thing that I wanted to mention that we haven't touched on is Diogo Costa. Not that he had a bad game, but
he gets a little caught out for the goal. He gets a little caught out for the goal. He could do a bit better. I still blame the whole defense for even letting it get to that point.
He's a great keeper, but
he just has some weird.
There's something in it. He reminds me of Patricio.
Like Patricio when he was not horrible, where he'd make like a couple good saves, but then he always had something stupid or something kind of like leaving you scratching your head at him.
Exactly.
Where you're you're half a foot out of position, you're late on the reaction, or you've missed this. It's just he leaves you scratch your head almost at least once a game. Yeah. One guy we haven't mentioned, by the way, who we should be giving all the praise for,
in a positive, I know,
is Vitinha. He was outstanding. I was pissed when he got subbed off. I thought Bruno should have come off.
Yeah,
I thought Vitinha was excellent. I think he was the motor that really ran that midfield, especially creatively. I saw some losers on Twitter, by the way, shouting for we need Ruben Neves in there instead. My brothers in Christ.
I seen Sam.
What are we?
Sam today doing? Sam said today I'd rather William. William. I'm with him though, low key.
I'd rather William than Ruben Neves, man.
Brother. God. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, Ruben I saw people shouting for Ruben Neves. I was like, I don't know about that one, Chief. But Vitinha was phenomenal. I don't think he put a foot wrong. say for me 1 or 2 errant pass, which happens any game to anybody.
Yeah.
I think he's, he should be one of the 2 midfielders moving forward. I don't know.
Oh, of course.
I don't know if Bruno shifts out next game for somebody else, especially because it's Turkey. You may want a ball-winning midfielder in. That might be where you want to put Pagina. And now that I say that, we're going to get Ruben Neves because that's our luck. But yeah, I wonder what he'll go with for the Turkey game because Turkey's a much more attack-minded team than the Czechs. They're a much more dangerous team offensively than the Czechs. So I expect a bit more back and forth in that game for sure. And we had this much trouble with the Czechs today or yesterday. I can't imagine we're going to have an easier time. People thought this group was going to be a cakewalk, and we called it before the tournament started that that's probably not going to be the case. And right now, this proves because Georgia real easily could have actually won that game against Turkey. The scoreline was unfair to Georgia. Yep. I think we're going to be lucky to scrape out with even with 7 points. Even we might be lucky.
No, and it's what we mentioned as well. Our problem is what we mentioned as well. I'm with you though. We can easily lose a game in this group. I'm not saying otherwise. Yeah. But I think we'll still win both of the games. This Croatia. They've all been wake up calls. I think I have a solution for the Turks in my couch manager opinion.
Yeah.
But
our FM and career mode experience.
Oh, what I was gonna exactly my career, my football manager career experience. But one thing that we also mentioned last podcast as well, Portugal's problem is we play to the level of our adversary. So we'll play to the level of Czechia. We'll play to the level of Turkey.
We don't play to our level necessarily.
Exactly.
We also just don't play with urgency, it seems. Like it almost like especially that first half, it was like lackadaisical. Yeah. Like just the pace. Like we got the ball and we'd just be standing still. Facts. In their half with possession. I'm like, what are we doing? Like move. Yeah. Like pass and move. Do anything. What are you doing? You're professionals. This isn't Sunday league.
I miss the days where it was counterattack football. Bring me Fernand Sench back.
I'm convinced no coach since Scolari ever wants to win by more than a goal. I'm convinced Luis Scolari was the last coach that wanted to win. I saw a screenshot of our lineup from the 2010 World Cup. We played with like 5 or 6 center backs. On the like Pep was a defensive midfielder. Yeah, which is just disgusting, unbelievable.
Mind you, this game
blood on Carlos Queiroz' hands.
But mind you, this game we're playing with 3 fullbacks. So I mean,
this was
give or take. I guess I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, we also were like, hey, let's start Dami and Duda. Like on them, like that was our level.
There was also a point Vieirinha, we were playing at right wing, right back.
Vieirinha was playing. He won the
Euros with him at right back, if I'm not mistaken.
We won with Cedric, but we started that Euros with Vieirinha at right back.
Yeah, okay, but he was on the team, is what I mean.
Our starting lineup that first game, we mentioned it last show, it was Eliseo, it was Pep, Ricardo Carvalho, and Vieirinha. And I'm like, man, we were in the trenches then.
Still won it.
He had to play like a 19-year-old Rafael Guerrero at one for the rest of the tournament, and then Cedric was our starter because he was still kind of good then. And it was like, I look at that team like, man, how do we do this? Like, what did we do? What do we do to deserve this?
Bruh.
But there's not much else to add to this game. Man of the match for me was Vitinha.
I have one thing to add to this game, but my man of the match is also Vitinha. There's no way it's not Vitinha. Our goal, we need to pay the ref double of what he got because he could have. Me and Chris talked about it. Goal, Nelson Smith should have got a yellow card.
Just that sweet decks a dude in his own half,
right in front of him. And then Nelson Smith should have got a yellow card. We should have got a foul there. We don't play the ball forward, get the goal because if we get a foul there. You already know Czechia is wasting 3 minutes at least.
Oh yeah, you're wasting half of the extra time at least at that point.
At least, and
would have been we're not getting
And as Christian mentioned on our group chat, this isn't like the World Cup where they're adding on like 14 minutes. No, this is
they're being kind of skimpy with it compared to the last World Cup, eh?
Exactly. Which I don't mind it because when it's 15 minutes after, it's like kind of fucking.
I'm the type of person where I'm just like, can we just do stop clock instead when the ball goes out of bounds or if there's like an egregious foul?
Yeah.
Just if we want to really
do
like
that.
get rid of time wasting, just do what every other sport on the planet does and just stop the clock.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like you're never gonna like eliminate it entirely. There's gonna be some little antics here and there, but if you do a stop clock, you eliminate 95% of the time wasting shenanigans.
Yeah.
So that's just my puny brain. That is it for this game. For that, we have we have tables to look at in a second, so we're going to see what the group tables are saying momentarily.
Let me just quickly put out there, Rich.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add on to it or not. My 11 for the Turkey game. I say we don't play 3 at the back. I say this game we play 4 at the back.
4-4-2.
I go
4-4-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I go. I obviously Dio Costa in net. I'll have Dalot still on the right.
Okay.
To be honest, with the center backs, I actually don't care what combination of it. If it's Ruben Diaz,
I assume it's going to be Ruben Diaz and Pep, which I'm okay with because Pep was phenomenal again.
I'm cool with that too. If it's Ruben Diaz, Antonio Silva, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
If it's any combination of them, but let's just say Ruben Diaz, Pep, I think that's fine. Nuno Mendes on the left back. And then we have Vitinha, we have Bruno, and we have Palhinha in the midfield because the Turks love a shot from outside the box. So Palhinha can also help us out there defensively.
I think for this game you need to have a ball-winning midfielder,
a crusher.
Yeah, you need to have that just warpath guy who's going to run through a wall.
Agreed.
And I think for me like that's Palhinha. We have the standings here. We'll go through all the groups. Germany has already clinched a spot in the next round. They won today. Switzerland and Scotland getting the draw today. Swiss pretty well on their way. Scotland still in with a chance for one of the third place spots. Still lots to play for. Big games tomorrow. Spain Italy is going to be a Titanic game at 3:00. We have Albania Croatia was already today or no? That's tomorrow.
That was today. That was today. They tied 2-2.
Oh yes. I forget. Yeah, they tied 2-2. Albania played a phenomenal game. From what I could see. Group C. Group C. England got their first win. Denmark and Slovenia split the points in their game, while Serbia, obviously the losers, against England. Just a 1-0 game. Group D is an interesting one. So Netherlands and France both have 3 points apiece, but they are playing each other, I think, in the last group stage game.
It's the next one.
It is the next one. Okay. Yeah. And then so Poland and Austria will be hoping one of those teams loses or draws, and that one of them can get a win, because that could make that group really interesting. Romania, big win over Ukraine. Huge win. 3-0 win, if I'm not mistaken, over Ukraine. Slovakia getting an upset win over Belgium. Belgium had 2 goals disallowed. Lukaku.
Yeah, there you go.
He had a nice replica of his whole World Cup, but whether it was against Canada or Croatia or whoever, just missed a couple brutal chances, and then Slovakia came back, bang, 1 goal, and that was all she wrote.
This is a replica of his career the last 3 years. To be quite honest with you,
man, he's down.
But Slovakia looked, especially the second half, they looked really good. Sesko off the post.
We were, you know what, we were right in our predictions to be high on Slovakia, I think.
But we were wrong, and I'll take the blame for this one because I was not high on their stock at all. No. Romania.
Yeah, we were wrong on Romania.
My bad.
We might have slept on Romania, and then
I knew they did so well in qualifications, but slept on them. My bad.
I think it's because we let recency bias for Belgium still, like they were still kind of a semi-sexy pick, so I think us and a lot of people kind of figured like, oh, they'll probably be okay and get out of the group. But
Rich, you want to hear something funny?
Always.
Number 3 in the FIFA rankings, brother.
It's because they spammed all those qualification points. That's why. Bro. It's all the wins and qualifications and stuff. That's what it is.
Crazy.
And then our group, we play Turkey this Saturday. Czechs play Georgia. So tied apiece, but Turkey, of course, has the goal differential on us right now, just by the 1. And we'll see what happens. So that is the group tables as it stands right now. Kind of what we expected for the most part from most of the groups thus far. No real big surprise outside of kind of Romania, and I guess Slovakia would be the big one. Albania has played 2 great games, by the way. Shout out to them because they played great against Italy. They had the goal like 20 seconds in, and they took an early lead against Croatia today.
Yeah.
And of course, they scored at the end. It was the guy who scored on himself too. I forget his name, and I
The
apologize.
own goal. I forget his name.
He scored the own goal, but then he made up for it by scoring the tying goal. So they're still alive. So that is the picture for that. Danny, shall we move on to fantasy? You're like, I don't know. You're like, I don't know, brother.
Of course. No, I'm fine. Listen, the fantasy champion is still here. Let me just
I'm
give
doing
a
good.
preview.
We're not going to do predictions days because it's going to take too long.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do that when we have all the boys here. But I'm actually killing it in predictions.
I've done all right. I've got today's prediction, the 1-1 at least.
Yeah.
I've gotten some predictions right on terms of the score. I just fuck up on who it was.
I got the winners, but I was off like 1 or 2 with the score.
Fair enough.
That's what it is. As I'm pulling up fantasy now, I'm waiting for you to share. There we go. So Danny is right now, as of the end of match day, like this match day 2 day, 68 points. You're killing it. And
I forgot to do transfers this week, though.
I didn't do transfer this week either. I made transfers for next week, though, already in anticipation for what I think is going to happen. Yeah. Bruno Dos Tres is sitting at 45 points. Sam went down. He was actually in second, but I leapfrogged him today. He's just behind at 43, and Hulman's Hog not looking very hog-like right now at 36. Very unlike Chris to be that low in the predictions. Here's what we got right now. So this is, I believe, Danny's team right now. So you have Yamal and Mbappe. You have Wirtz. You got your point. Musiala got your big points. You probably got big points from, you got Jude. You got Saka, Bruno. Guardiola was a good shout. You got Trent, Frimpong, Yoga Cautious. You got some points for the win from Yoga probably. And you've got your bench. Nothing really crazy on your bench that you left. So, all right.
That's for this week. Last week, the Georgian guy that I have on my bench, he was the one that scored for them.
Yeah.
And that Belgium guy, he got 5 points from me. I left him on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, Bruno didn't give me a ton of points last week. My big guy was Bellingham. That's who saved me last week.
Yeah.
Cruz had a good game. Modric had a good game today, so that helped me. A lot of my guys are still waiting to play. Outside of Sommer, who I could have played today, and I would have got some points for him. But I held strong with Schmeichel for this match week. Stanisic, I might end up subbing Rodri in for Bruno next week, potentially, or just getting Bruno out completely. We go to Sam. His big performer has been Kai Havertz. He got him 2 points today. He's waiting on Lukaku and Dembele's games now. De Bruyne. Barella is a question mark, as is Mbappe for you. Calhanoglu, he's got Bruno. So he's got big points from Rudiger and Neuer as well. So huge on Sam. Nothing really on his bench this week. He's got injuries. He's got all his Spanish and French guys and Portuguese guys on the bench. Interesting. And then we go to Hulman's Hog. He got a point from Havertz. He's got Mitrovic, my guy, my Balkan brethren. We got Ronaldo. He's still got him as captain. Interesting choice. De Bruyne, Hulman. So he's still got a lot of games, a lot of players still waiting to play this week, especially. So interesting setup. But that is the standings. Danny is the king at 68 points right now, as we're just through the first match day and just getting through the second one now. I am in second. Sam in third. Chris sitting at the bottom. Danny, what have you have to say for yourself?
Not surprised. Oh, my guy's left. He's had enough. He's had enough, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. I said you had enough.
You leave the studio. I meant to stop my screen share there.
Had enough. It's all right. I understand too. You're sick and tired of me winning. I'm sick and tired of you winning.
Fantasy. I hit that. I hit the button. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to stop my screen share, but my point still stands. Eddie, what do you have to say for yourself?
Nothing. I mean, job's not finished.
So early.
Still early, and with Mbappe getting injured, I seen him in training today, trying to act like João Pinto. But there can only be one João Pinto.
There's only one João Pinto.
And Sa Pinto, actually, with the little nose thing.
It's always the guys with Pinto. It's always the Pintos.
You know what I mean? Mbappe, let me just apologize to Mbappe. I'm pretty sure he only broke his nose because I picked him for my fantasy team. It's just the way my life been.
He saw Danny Saldana picked up fantasy. He goes, "Let me fix that real quick."
And I captained them too. No. Let me fuck this up for him a little bit. But so far, so good. We'll see what happens this week.
For sure.
With Wirtz got me shit today, so we'll see. Last week he did well for me.
Yeah. Wirtz gave a lot of people some points last little bit, so that'll be an interesting one. It's been a fun tournament so far, the Euros. Like, there's been like we said, not a lot of bad games. A couple where I was like, whatever, but like nothing where I'm like, this is objectively like awful football. Like no 0-0 draws. So
did you sort of relating it to Spartan? Not sort of, actually, really relating it to Spartan. Did you happen to catch the Belgium game?
I did not get to watch the Belgian game. I saw De Bast was a starter.
Played well. I liked him.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a bit of like highlights at a couple minutes of the game. Everybody I saw in group chats on Twitter said he played well, and he was kind of one of their standout guys, especially on defense. So
let me say, I liked him a lot. You know who he reminded me a lot of, which made me realize he's. I mean, I kind of always figured he was gone this season, but I think it solidified it to me. He reminds me a lot of Inacio. Left-footed player,
interesting.
Good on the ball, moves the ball well, a good defender. He's not as great of a defender as Inacio is currently, but he reminds me of Inacio a year ago, 2 years ago.
He gives you the same kind of vibes.
Exactly. So him under Ruben Amorim, ton of room to grow, of course.
Yeah.
We'll see if
I wonder if that was a transfer in mind because Inacio could be potentially. I know he's one of the rumored names, so that might be one of the things like make him kind of an heir apparent.
Or the only other thing it could be is Diomande leaves and then Inacio plays right center back again. But I mean, I think I personally have had enough of Inacio at right center back. Yeah. He's a left center back. He's left-footed. It's his spot, but.
For sure.
I mean, that might be a possibility, but I think Inaci's pretty much gone. And the boss seems like a decent replacement right now.
Yeah, and they've still got like Kouach, who I know he's older, but he had a real bounce back here this past year and shown he can be reliable still. Yeah. Eduardo Quaresma coming out and being just the greatest defender on the planet at some times. At least looking like he was just the GOAT. Like seeing him like bounce back in a huge way that was very unexpectedly like super happy surprise. Diomande still looks fine.
Might get sold, but we'll see.
A bit of a downturn in the second half of the season, partly because he had the AFCON, which kind of screwed up his season a bit mid-season, and then obviously like the emergence and like just continued reliability of other guys kind of made it so you didn't need to rely on him as much as you maybe had planned. So not necessarily like a Diomande issue, although he had a couple moments like here and there where I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Fine. They settle down. But yeah, so I like the depth we have at center back, especially because we lose. I mean, not that Luis Neto was eating a ton of minutes, but you know we need him to score against
big presence though.
Great locker room guy. Like he just seems like such a great vibes guy.
Yeah,
like such a just a beloved dude. Like every locker room needs like that one kind of old dude. No, I shouldn't even say old, but like that one dude who's just been around the block and like it's just such a funny guy. It's like Scott Carson for Man City.
Yeah,
like the backup goalie for Man City. I don't know if anybody's seen the clip. It's like all the guys are getting called up for like a international break. This is a couple years ago, and he's like, "Oh, I'm waiting for him to call." He goes, "I was hoping Sven would call me for England or not." I don't know. Like Sven hasn't called for years, but he's such a funny like vibes. You know, like every team needs like a dude like that though, and I feel like Luis Neto was kind of that guy.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, just wanted to praise Luis Neto. It's the Luis Neto happy hour.
Shout out, bro. Of course, legend in my eyes.
Yeah. We're going to stray a little bit away from. We're going to come back to Sporting in a minute because we have what's all to talk about. But we do want to talk a little bit of Copa America propaganda, if the folks at home will allow us. What do you think, Daniel?
We don't give a flying fuck about what the folks at home want, baby.
Our show. We run this
We don't care, baby.
We do what we want. I'm going to try not to leave the studio again as I try to share my screen.
If there's any Americans in the chat or watching this right now.
Brazilians, we'll be rooting for a couple teams this year. So here's the groups as follows. Me and Danny are going to have a little fun with predictions, just us two.
Yeah.
So Group A, it's Argentina, Canada, Chile, and Peru. Argentina, the reigning and defending Copa America champions, also the world champions. Group B, Ecuador, Jamaica, Mexico, and Venezuela. Group C, Bolivia, Panama, Uruguay, and the USA, who are the reigning Gold Cup and CONCACAF Nations League winners, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Brazil, who were runners-up in the last Copa America, won the tournament prior. Colombia, Costa Rica, and Paraguay. So some pretty tasty groups. We're going to run through, and we're going to make predictions based on best, basically just based on what we think. So we'll start with Group A. We'll work our way down. Danny, Argentina, I think we can leave it first. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Wait, hold on, Richard. Hear me out. Does Argentina have Alphonso Davies?
No.
Do they have Tejan Buchanan?
No, they have Lionel
Do
Messi,
they have
though.
no? Hold on. Don't get me. Hold on.
Oh,
Do they have Crepeau?
Do they have Steffi?
Do they have Jonathan David? Do they have Richie Larea? Do they have Alistair Johnson? No, bro. They just have this midget that's like idolized as the GOAT. Yeah,
I'm surprised you left out Steffi Stacchio.
Oh, of course. Shout out Stephanie.
But yeah, Argentina first. Like, we're not even going to move them.
Yeah.
I think second place is wide open because Canada has shown they can kind of sort of hang with some of these teams.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to put them second, though. I think they might just miss out.
I think, I'm being honest now, I think Chile Chile don't look like the Chile of years prior.
Yeah.
They look old as well.
My hot take is Peru bottom, for sure.
My hot take is actually Chile bottom. I think if Canada's gonna lose second, I think we lose second to Peru. But the only thing. So? But at the same time, I think Canada can also come fourth in this group. Don't get me wrong.
This is the group where like literally anywhere from second to fourth is a coin toss. I'm hesitant to put Peru last.
Fair enough. We can do that. That's fine.
I think it's between Canada. I think Canada and Chile might be the ones battling out for second. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it up to you. Who do you think is second?
So here's my thing. I think again, biased. I'm well aware I'm biased. But the thing is with Canada, and especially coming up against those two teams, Canada can easily lose to those two teams because those teams just know how to win or know how to fight for a draw. And Canada can easily like slip up, right? We just got a new manager.
I think we saw at the World Cup too, like they can play, but there's still holes. I think there's still holes in our game. I think the Belgium game proved that like we should have won that game.
That
game is gonna forever haunt. Like it deservedly will haunt those boys because they know they should have won that game. Mm-hmm. The Croatia game, it started out so great, and then it was a massacre. And then the Morocco game, they did everything they could.
But Morocco were unreal though.
They did everything they could to score. They did everything they could to score a goal. Morocco just had the power of God and anime on their side that game.
And Morocco ended up being Portugal and going to the semi, so we can't fault them for that.
So you can't fault. They lost. They finished last in the group that had two of the four semifinalists, which is crazy.
Exactly. And for their first ever historically, their second World Cup, but really their first World Cup that these guys were alive to ever see anyways, right? So I think Canada have a great team. The only issue, if this was John Herdman, as much as I had my doubts about him and I have my issues still with him,
I like the John Herdman appointment, but
I do too. If this was John Herdman, I'm guaranteeing second place because he's worked with these guys, and we have a system in place.
He's grown up with, and they've grown up with him. Yeah,
exactly. Because it's Jesse Marsh, and because we're still learning the system, and maybe it's because of that Netherlands game that we got pumped 4-0. Although in the first half we looked great.
I think what it was is they were really tired that second half from trying to press in the first half, and it showed.
And that's my worry too. I think the pressing might get to us. But hot take here. Let me just remind the public at home. Argentina lost to Saudi first game of the World Cup. Went on to win the World Cup, right? And
won the whole
everything's
show.
Poised. Everything's poised. We just went through the groups. Everything's poised for Argentina to, Group B is a lot easier than Group C and D.
Yeah.
Everything's poised for Argentina to maybe make a run to the final. So why not lose the first game to Canada?
I mean, my predicted final is probably between like Argentina and Brazil.
Of course, that's how it's expected to be. I mean, look at the Group A.
So are we good then to leave this?
I'm good to leave it like this.
So we're not making any changes.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna be the stupid bull Canadians. We're gonna predict us to finish second, and then when we get trounced tomorrow night, we will walk all this back.
No. It's Argentina. It's Argentina. The tournament only starts for Canada the second game.
Game two.
Unless we win game one, baby.
We're winning the whole thing.
Then we're exactly.
Yeah. Group B, this one's an interesting one. I don't know where to start. I think Ecuador first. I would leave Ecuador first.
100%. Jamaica's last.
Yes.
So much drama with Jamaica.
And that's why,
Leon
because
Bailey's
there's a lot of drama with Jamaica right now. So I think if there wasn't the drama, they might not finish second, but they probably don't finish last. I'm gonna be honest. I think this Mexico team kind of duty.
Oh, bro, they've been horrible.
I think Venezuela over Mexico.
But Venezuela's also not been that great.
Yeah, but I feel like Mexico, like, you know what? They're gonna basically playing every game like a home game though, because of the Mexican population. So maybe we put Mexico second.
I put Mexico second still.
Okay, so Venezuela third. Although I could easily see this flip flopping depending on circumstance.
Me too.
All right, Group C. Uruguay probably first. And
still one of the favorites.
Uruguay, I think Panama bottom.
No, Bolivia.
CONCACAF team. I don't know.
I'm not mad at Panama bottom, but Panama's really good as well. Don't sleep on Panama. Panama's always good at World Cups too.
I think USA, Bolivia, Panama. I could see
I'm not mad at
bottom.
that.
I could see the bottom two flipping.
I'd flip.
I just don't see much in Panama. I think this group can stay as is. Actually,
Agreed.
I think Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Paraguay. I think we can leave that group as is.
Yeah.
So
let me just also say Colombia, extreme dark horse in this though.
Colombia is a bit of a Colombia for me is a bit of the sexy pick.
Yeah.
All right. We're in the knockout rounds now. We're in the quarterfinals. It's only 16, like the old Euros and the Olympics currently too.
Yeah.
Argentina over Mexico, easy.
100%. World Cup rematch, by the way.
I think as much as I like Canada, I think Ecuador will probably eke out a win against us.
Richard, hold on.
No.
Does Ecuador have Steven Eustáquio?
Stop. No.
Do they have Jonathan David?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But
do they have me as a fan? They don't. So yeah.
They also don't have me as a fan, but I think
Ecuador's gonna win.
Ecuador's gonna win. I think if Canada if anything outside of getting trounced every game and not like finishing last is a win for Canada at that point.
Canada going to the round of 16 is a success, in my opinion.
Yeah, getting to the knockout stage is I think for me would exceed expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be great.
Quarters, I think not quarters, semis. Definitely.
Is the next one. Semis would exceed a lot, yeah, but
definitely.
Uruguay, Colombia. I'm going Colombia for this. What do you think? That's a tough match. That's a tough matchup. That's one of the tougher matches.
Yeah, sexy matchup. To be honest, this is why I don't. I hope Colombia come first.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going. I'm cool with you picking. I'm cool with it being Colombia. I'm going Uruguay in this game though.
I can go Uruguay.
Uruguay can easily win this whole.
That's probably the toughest game to call in the knockouts. I think Brazil beats the U.S.
Yeah.
They just played.
They
just played an exhibition game and like they drew. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I think.
Yeah, they drew. Yeah.
I think Brazil's my pick probably for the whole thing.
Brazil better step up because if Ronaldinho comes out saying, I'm not gonna watch a Brazil game.
You better come out.
Rafinha, I want to see the step overs and shit.
I want to see jogo bonito.
Kind
of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Semifinals. I think this is pretty much fait accompli. I think it's gonna be Argentina.
Of course.
Crazy prediction, I know. And then
insane.
I think Brazil. Who would have predicted this? Only at All Things Alvalade would you get this kind of expert prediction.
Facts.
We have a bronze medal game in Copa America.
Yeah.
Colombia. Yeah. Final. Danny, who do you think and why?
I'm going also Brazil.
My mind says Argentina, but my heart says Brazil.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm going to go with Brazil.
I'm going Brazil. Brazil have a stacked team. Don't get me wrong. I think Argentina do too, but
they're the two for me. They're the two strongest teams. They're the two it's them, and then I think everybody else.
Yeah,
like they're on a tier of their own. Those two teams.
Yeah.
Just the start, like on paper, the star power, the style of play and system that they play, the coaching. I think those for me are the two most complete teams at the tournament and among the two most complete teams in the world. My mind says Argentina. Like I said, my heart is with Brazil though. I always got to root for the Brazilian brethren. That's my boys.
Meus primos. I was partying with the Brazilians this weekend, by the way.
Yes,
Love
guy.
them.
That's my boy.
Love them, bro. Amor. Minchi.
Love them. Love the
Brazil.
Brazilians, man. I'll wear a Brazil shirt next show for the boys.
Nice.
I got a nice little sassy Brazil number there. I know. Everybody's like, why are you wearing the France shirt? I'm like, man, you're gonna get every shirt this month, man. You're getting so much. I'll bring out an England shirt.
Chill out, bro. Hold on. Relax.
Relax,
bro.
Don't
go too crazy, bro. Don't go too crazy, man.
I'm a maniac. I'm crazy. You don't know what to expect from me. But yeah, I got plenty of funky shirts from soccer history, both official and not official, if you know what I mean. That we'll be busting out just because it's fun too. It's fun. It's fun. Like, I love this time of year, international football. It's just the freaking best.
To be honest, it's what made me fall in love with the game. To be honest, my earliest memories aren't Sporting. My earliest memories are rooting for Portugal, and then it made me fall in love with Sporting. You know?
Yeah, my earliest memories are like the Euro 2004, because I was too young to really enjoy like the World Cup in 2002. Like, I was like I just turned like 4 years old or whatever. Yeah. Like, I was too young to appreciate.
Nobody's watching sports at that time, bro.
No, like people were coming over. Like I remember people coming over to watch like the games, like the Portugal games. Like my boo and like my uncle coming over, and they brought like donuts and shit, and they're watching the game. I'm like, oh, cool, I don't care what's going on. I got donuts. I'm 4 years old. This is a great time. But I kind of want to go back to that too. So I didn't really get to like appreciate that tournament for what it was. Euros is like the first time I really remember like starting to watch the game and like starting to kind of appreciate it. And then it was World Cup 06, which is like that got me hooked. Was that World Cup, coincidentally in Germany, as these Euros are. That was the one that got me like, oh man, you've got me for life now. And I'm gonna make some poor decisions based off of it, but this is a great time. That was such a fun tournament. And that's the one I always look at for like nostalgia purposes. And yeah, like I always kind of sort of watch Sporting like during that time. Like, I was kind of on the periphery, like kind of sort of catching a game here or there. If my grandfather come over, I might watch a game with him or watch a game at their place. But after that, that's when I really started to like watch the games and really fell in love with football. Really fell in love with soccer.
Yeah. Really quickly before we move on to the futsal, I just want listen. Canadians are here, so we're taking over. I know this is a soccer podcast, but we just did a whole Copa America mainly because our boys are in it.
Yeah.
Edmonton, Florida, as my hockey.
Oh my lord! Let me tell you something. Connor McDavid could have. I'll have his babies.
The GOAT.
He is putting up like video game numbers.
Facts.
He's gonna break Gretzky's point record in a single playoffs. Facts. With like time to spare potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen a stat the other day that it was like the last time the Oilers lost 3 in a row, they went on like a 6 or 7 game winning streak. I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
Well, they won 6. There was a point they won 16 in a row this season.
Or maybe it was that.
Yeah, they won 16 games in a row this season. So 4 games for them, like, is doable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the mentality they have. And I'm of course rooting for the Canadians.
I'm not rooting. I'm not one of those people like I'm rooting for the Canadian team, but I'm rooting because Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are 2 of the best players of like this generation. Like, they're goats.
Yeah,
and that's a guy. It's like when it's like seeing Messi win the World Cup, or like seeing Ronaldo when he won the Euro. You want to see those players like
at least get something out of this.
You want to see them get that moment.
Yeah,
because like a lot of players didn't get that moment.
Yeah,
they didn't get that like big international tournament, or that big trophy with like their beloved club or whoever. So that's where I stand with that. But yeah, fun time for the hockey. Unbelievable. I will be watching on. I'll try to be watching on Friday. Hopefully, that will be a fun time. Futsal news. We won. We won in futsal. What a time to be alive!
Surprise, motherfuckers!
We won the Tetra, correct? That's the 4th one in our the Tetra. So that is the 4th futsal championship in a row. I'm gonna pull up the Woodley Dodge Twitter if you want to vibe on for a second, Danny.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we were talking about Connor McDavid. Many, if you're a soccer fan, you might not know what we're talking about, but
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the modalidades, that's Ziki.
That's Ziki Day, yeah.
That's like the perfect like comparison I can make between the two. They're both insane. Ziki, what a guy! What a great team! What a great coach! Of course. Shout out to Braga. Like Braga's never really been at this stage, especially in futsal. Not that I quite remember. Not that I've
the last year, so they've really come on in futsal. I've noticed.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is good.
They have Benfica's old coach as well. That
Yeah.
is one thing to do with it as well, right?
So. Yeah. So Sporting won 6-3 the other day, obviously, against Braga. That was the final score. They swept the series, if I'm not mistaken. So that made them 4 times champions of Portugal, which has never been done before in futsal anyway. It's been done plenty of times in regular football.
Of course.
So a big thing. Shout out to Nuno Diaz, the entire coaching staff. They seem to always lose like a key player every year, and they still remain competitive, if not winning a trophy every year. Like they finished runners up in the Taça Portugal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We lost in Taça Liga. I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. And then obviously UEFA Futsal Champions League, we lost in the Final Four. But we were in the Final Four again. We've been in the Final Four every year for the last God knows how many years. So shout out to the core of the group. Shout out to the unbelievable coaching staff, especially Nuno, for just being able to adapt and showing such consistency as they have. We've got some videos of the celebrations, which we are allowed to show because this isn't Sport TV. We can show because they're just the cell phone footage. But yeah, it's great to see. It's nice to see futsal still staying competitive because I know some people weren't sure about what would happen this year because they had lost a couple key players. But yeah, Tetra Campeões, we'll never complain about that. It's always a fun time when any of our modalidades teams win, especially futsal, because that's kind of the big one. Like outside of football, it's like football and then probably futsal. I would say,
yeah,
futsal for sure. And big shout out, by the way, to Nemias Keta, the NBA champion, representing the Tugas worldwide here.
Yeah.
So we just want to shout out, even though I didn't really want to see Boston win, I was very happy to see Tuga win the NBA title.
And it came after sad news that night. He also lost his dad, which mixed emotions there, right?
Yeah. Like the biggest moment of like your professional life.
Yeah.
And you're the guy who he said nothing but such glowing things about his dad too. He goes, I know he would have been proud of me. And it sucks that he's not here, but I know he's always with me. And it was so beautiful and poetic. And I was like, damn, like one day away from seeing, like, I would have loved to see him like at the celebrity. That's kind of the cool thing when you win a title. It's always going back to be with the family because those are the ones that make a big sacrifice, right?
He did say he wants to bring the Larry O.B. to Portugal.
I
don't know if he's going to be. He played minutes. Don't get me wrong.
He got some minutes. He'll get a ring.
Minutes, but he played minutes.
Yeah,
minutes.
He played his minutes. He'll get his best size championship.
Yeah, he'll get the ring. Oh,
he'll get the ring. So I think it's kind of a thing that they've started doing. They kind of adapted from hockey where they get the guys kind of get the trophy for a day or something, which is I always thought was cool when the Stanley Cup did that. Every player gets like their one day with the trophy to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, have they done some things. I
don't know if Portugal. I don't know if Portugal. I don't know if the NBA does the same thing. I don't think so. At least
they kind of started to do that a bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool. I wish more people did that. Like
it would be cool
because it's so cool. And like so some of the stories you get from guys like, oh yeah, like I took out like took out the trophy on a boat. Like the Stanley Cup, people are like, I had Cheerios out of the Stanley Cup. One dude's like, I just filled it with booze, and another guy's like, I'm just put my baby in there for a nap. And like the one dude left it on the side of the road one day. Like those that kind of stuff is so funny and hilarious. I'd love to see more more sports kind of adapt to that. Give each player and coach like their day with the trophy kind of thing to do what they want. Like enjoy it with their family and like the people they don't really get to share stuff because they sacrifice a lot, right? Like you're a 16, 17-year-old kid. You're not, and like you're playing pro or you're going pro in any sport. You really don't get to spend a lot of time with mom and dad and grandparents or aunts and uncles. Like you're kind of grinding for that time, right? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But but shout out to Nemias Keita. But let me just say, fuck Boston.
Fuck the Celtics.
Such a horrible city. The Mans had to fly out to Miami the next day because they couldn't stand to be in that city.
Yeah.
Flying back tomorrow for the parade. But shout out to Nemias Keita putting Portugal first Portuguese NBA player and then first NBA champion.
First NBA champion out of Portugal. Well. So
shout out
that's sick. That's always cool.
Yeah. Facts.
Portugal, we're taking over worldwide. Caralho.
Yeah.
We're taking over. Anything that we've missed today, Danny, that I haven't got to?
Not that I can think of. Squeezed in a lot there.
We squeezed in a lot today. We'll get to Euro predictions next week when we have more of the gang here to discuss that. We can do a quick preview of the Turkey game if you want to do a score prediction. We're not doing like official predictions right now, but do you have like a guesstimated score prediction? What do you think? How do you think the game's gonna go?
I'm gonna go with a 3-1 win to Portugal. Ronaldo's on the score sheet. Bruno's on the score sheet.
Interesting.
And that's it because one of them are getting a brace. I'm not sure
which one. One of them's gonna score too. Okay.
Yeah. And then he'll cost them that one in.
I'm going 2-2 draw.
Mm.
I think it's going to be a back and forth game. There's going to be at least one calamitous goal.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Ronaldo will get on the score sheet this game. And I think Diogo Jota might get some minutes.
He better start. I didn't mention the front three before.
He might start over Leao is what I'm thinking.
100%. He should.
He might get a like a dirty little goal.
To me, the front three, I forgot to mention, front three is Ronaldo, Jota. I'd keep Bernardo
for now.
If Martinez has the cojones, he plays Pedro Neto there. But if not, I'm cool with Bernardo there.
Do you think he waited? Now we're back on this game. Do you think he waited too long to make subs because he was afraid of pissing off some of the superstars? That I don't know, but like that was one of the things that crossed my mind.
You're definitely on something because he didn't sub off Bernardo. I didn't think Bruno was that bad, but fair enough. He didn't sub off Bruno. There was no subbing off of Ronaldo. Even Leon came off late. I don't consider Leon a superstar per se, but even he came off late.
Yeah.
It could be that. I think and maybe we don't play as attacking football under him, but I think the perfect manager for this amount of talent in this squad is our boy, Jose Mourinho.
Is Mourinho.
Because he's the biggest star there, really.
Well, and I think the thing is Mourinho won't let any player put themselves above the team.
Exactly.
He's like, we are a team. We play like a team. Either buy in or get out. Yeah. Don't waste my time. I'm not here for arguments. Yeah. I am the one in charge. I make the decisions. And
or
if you
even
don't like it, tough shit.
George Jesus would be too delusional to do that.
I think George Jesus would be a chaos.
Don't get me wrong. George Jesus would be chaos. George Jesus
it'd be fun though. The friends would make along the way.
It's fun, and he might leave substitutions at the end as well. But I don't think he leaves them that far at the end.
No.
And I don't think we look that bad under George Jesus personally.
I think we'd play with more urgency under George Jesus.
A lot more attacking.
It'd be a lot more attacking. Not that we didn't play attacking in checks. It was a lackadaisical attack.
I think
it was just let's hold the ball and not do much with it.
Exactly. It wasn't organized per se. Like it was organized in terms of holding possession. Mm-hmm. It wasn't organized in terms of what we do when we move forward. And I think that's what Jorge Jesus knows how to do best. And I think we get the classic Jorge Jesus. If we're gonna play Vitinha and Bruno in the midfield, fine. Yeah. We're playing Ronaldo, Leon up top, Jota and Bernardo just behind them, bro.
Yeah.
And that would be
insane. We're playing like a 2-2-2 essentially. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Insane for anyone to stop.
I'm curious if you don't move to like a 2-striker system almost, and move to like a and instead of having like a front three, you have a front two with like a guy with like a false nine in behind them.
Yeah, I think. Listen, with this, like we said last week, our biggest problem is there's too many solutions here.
There's too many choices.
Exactly. We can look to the amount of fluidity we see even this game week in terms of the formation we can play. We can play 3 at the back. We can play with 2 up top with 3 at the back. Wing back still of the law.
We can play 4-4-2, 4-3-3.
Exactly. We can easily have a wing back being like a winger being a wing back. We can switch a lot of things around. So
I think the big thing with I was gonna say Fernando Santos. The biggest thing with Roberto Martinez is, I think he has the same problem with Fernando Santos, which is he doesn't know who his best starting 11 is, and he doesn't know what his best formation is.
And
I
don't blame them.
And that is, I get it, but that's problematic. I think at this point, you've had a year on the job. You should have a pretty solid idea of what your lineup is going to be game in and game out.
Especially for international
football. Especially now that you're at the tournament.
Yeah.
Like game one, Nuno Mendes at center back. Like, no, like it worked out, but I was like, is this really the time you want to experiment? Like, is this like, are you really experimenting with that now? Like, you shouldn't be doing that. That should be the last thing you should be doing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you too. But
yeah,
I'm only. It's mainly to do with the fact that in international football, like it's at most of it's 5 games or 6 games. You know what I mean? You have to know your team inside and out.
It's 6 games from group stage.
If you make it to the final, is what I'm saying. It's 6.
Yeah,
games,
it's 6 games to get from the start of the group stage to the final.
Yeah,
and so that's
why knowing your best 11 or having some sort of
it'll be an extra 1 game.
Yeah, exactly.
Knockout round, like big one. Yeah. But yeah, you got to know your best team.
You got to know your best team, or at least have some sort of concrete idea. And I think that's the problem with Martinez, because in qualification, I've seen us play 3 at the back. I've seen us play 4 at the back. I've seen us play with 2 strikers up top. I've seen us play with 1 striker up top. I've seen us play with wingers. I've seen us play with no wingers and just wing backs.
No, I'm okay with it in qualifying a little bit, because you
have to find out, you have to figure it out,
because you got to figure you do have to figure some stuff out, because that is usually qualification is a bit of a transition period,
of course,
for any team.
Yeah,
but like you should know you're at the international, you should know by now who your ideal 11 is and what system you're playing.
I'm with you.
So we'll see. Saturday I got to drive to my girlfriend's, so I'll be driving to her house early on Saturday. I'm like, I'm not missing the first half of the game at least. She goes, what about the second half? I'm like, I might not want to watch the second half. We'll see how it goes.
My girl's on goal, and she's either coming to support us or she's staying her ass at home, bro. One or the other, brother.
My girl's Canadian, so she's just learned. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna see a side of me you didn't realize.
I like that.
She came over for the Sporting Benfica game, the 2-1 win.
Nice.
And I'm like, I'm gonna apologize in advance. You're gonna see a side of me and my dad like you haven't seen before. And she was
used to it.
She was like, I understand. Like after the game, she's like, you okay? I'm like, I'm good now. Just during the game, I'm the worst. After the game, I'm chill. During a game, I'm like, oh,
stressed.
My buddy messaged me during the game yesterday. He goes, how you feel about this game? And I'm like, I fucking hate this team. They're so fucking bad. And I'm like, other than that, I'm doing all right. He goes, understandable.
I had thankfully, I was actually able to catch the second half because I was on lunch. The first half,
I caught the second half. I missed a good chunk of the first half.
The first half I was able to watch. I was only able to watch because we did this like pointless meeting at work. Yeah. And this is the last thing for me. And our cameras are on. Usually our cameras aren't on, but for this training.
Oh, for the meeting, it was like mandatory. Have your cameras.
Brother, I forgot I was on camera for a bit. I'm watching it on my phone. Like my desk is here, right? My
your monitor is here. Yeah,
I'm looking at it, but I'm really looking at my phone, right? But you can't really tell. Mm-hmm. And then I caught myself because I was like this. I think Ronaldo missed the chance, or it was Leão sliding. I can't remember. It was one or the other. Mm-hmm. And you see me going like this, and then I'm on camera and I'm like back up, and I'm back up.
And you're like, oh, hold on a second.
My boy messages me on the side. He's like, bro, you seen that Portugal miss 2-8? Like, yeah, bro.
He's like, you saw that shit, right? Like,
yeah. Allegedly, by the way.
I was okay. Like, I also I'm hybrid from home at the office some days, so I was at home yesterday. So I was waiting on some stuff to come in. I'm like, okay, I can sneak off, watch a bit of the first half, snuck back, did what I got to do, and then wrapped up the day. Watched most of the second half. Checked the laptop a couple more times, and back I saw the goal. I saw our goals and their goal basically. And then like after the game, I had to like reply to a couple emails. But yeah, it's benefit of working from home like hybrid is you can do stuff like that. But you know, I'm also like, oh crap, I gotta plan out my day. If I actually wanted this, I need to like plan out my day. So that's just something to keep in mind for those of you that work at home. But no, I was a busy boy.
Next game's a Saturday. I think the next game after that I have off, so we're good moving forward.
Beauty. What a guy. What a time to be alive.
What a time.
I think that's everything.
Definitely.
That's our show. So we'll be back next week. We'll have a review of the Turkey game and probably the early parts of the second of the final kind of round of group stage games. Because we play Turkey on Saturday, and when is our actual next game? I want to check. Wednesday, so we might even come right after on Wednesday, depending, with immediate post game reaction or close to immediate post game. Yeah. We'll see what we do. Hopefully next week we come in with a win or 2 wins or a draw and a win, and we'll be relatively coasting to the knockout rounds, but we'll see. Yeah. For Danny, I've been Richard. Follow us down below, all things Alvalade. Feel free to follow Chris and Sam as well. They couldn't be here. There's Chris
right
down
here.
below.
Sam right there.
Sam. Feel free to follow Danny.
Of course, Richard.
Myself, if you want some just garbage jokes and puns and stuff like that, feel free to DM me, and I probably will ignore you. But most importantly, I'm not on Twitter that much anymore. But they officially renamed it to X. Now it's not. It doesn't pop up as Twitter on the thing. Look at you on. But yeah, follow us on all things Alvalade. That's where you'll get any updates on when we go live or when we post a new video. That's where we'll post any kind of news updates that we aggregate from all the fun, so all your favorite Portuguese sources and Pedro Sepúlveda. Gotta get a dig in on him. Thank you for tuning in, whether you've been here for a minute or been here for the whole show. We'll be back next week. Until then, Força Portugal, Viva Sporting, and all that fun stuff.
Força Canadá, caralho!
Go!